Alright, good evening everybody and welcome to round 4 of the PS4 Race Spec Pacific Series. We're here for Tier 2 action at Belgium. I'm Bodhod and I'll be your commentator for the evening, and what's going to be a very enjoyable race. I think Belgium, one of the greatest circuits in the world, a general fan favourite, although it comes with its own challenges, so it's always a pretty decent race around here. Weather's looking a bit dark, so rain always spices things up, but it is dry at 4 now, so we'll see these guys qualify at full pace, at least for the initial section of this session. Just on board with Blocky here. We might ride on board for a lap just to get our way around. Personally, this is one of my favourite tracks on the game. I'm sure I'm not the only one who thinks that way. Really fantastic racetrack. The longest distance wise, just over 7 kilometers long, longest on the F1 calendar. One of the longest lap times, even though it is fairly high speed all round. But right on board here with Blocky. We'll turn that off just to get a picture. Heavy braking into turn 1, possible overtaking zone. There is DRS there, but the straight's not very long. You're probably better off lining up your move into one of the, in real life, scariest sections on the calendar and on the game, one of the most thrilling at least. Eau Rouge and Radion, really easy to get the car unsettled, although in this game with these cars, the kind of downforce we have these days, it's quite easy flat if you get that line right. And onto the Kemmel Straight, probably our favourite overtaking zone on the track. Heavy braking into the start of the second sector. We want the downforce, get the car planted through here, try and get on the power as soon as you can. Heavy braking, one of the more tricky braking zones on the track, not many heavy braking zones. Really easy to unsteer or lose the car. Then through No Name corner, don't run wide there, you can't afford to do that, otherwise the game will invalidate your lap. Into one of the other iconic sections of the track, Puon. Deadly inside curve, don't want to run too wide either, almost flat if you're brave enough. Maybe shift down a gear into the fast S section towards the end of sector 2. Try and get your car slightly on that curve perhaps, see if you can get it to rotate your car around. Really important traction zone out here. It leads into the long straight that makes up most of the third sector onto this straight. Probably another overtaking zone into the bus stop chicane, which is our final sequence of corners after Blanchimont here. Really tricky, particularly in the wet, to get that car turned in flat. I'm going to have to lift off in the wet. Heavy braking into the bus stop chicane. See, Blocky goes a tiny bit deep there, but gets the car stopped enough, which is alright. And onto the power, and that is a lap of Spa-Francorchamps, and it is 1:42.2, which is actually not too bad a time from Blocky there, so good job for the Mercedes man. First one to set a time, S. Nui, currently sitting on top out of the 3 guys who have set times with the 1:42 flat. Because of this circuit's length, we're probably only going to see 2 runs from all drivers. A lot of tracks can get 3 in, but because of the length of the in-lap and the out-lap, it's really tricky to do so. So every lap you get on is going to really count. You really need it to capitalise on your session when you have the chance to. Got Rock coming across the line, 42.5, that will slot him into P3 for now. Plenty of guys still setting laps. So you already have a DNF, that is Banana Josh. I'm not sure if he's filling in or if he's a full-timer. I might have to double check that, but he is already out of the session, so he'll be starting right at the back, which I'm sure is not ideal for him. Who have we got on a lap? Have a quick look up and down the field. There are a couple of guys in the second sector. I think there's a McLaren starting this lap. Yep, definitely Dudog. Bit of a lift there. I don't think he's pushing, he's just finished his lap. So Ai Cheng's coming through the last corner now. I think he's about to start a lap, but I'm not sure. 2:32, probably not quite representative of his actual pace. That would be an out lap there. So Ai Cheng's in the bloom. He is filling in Tier 3 driver. I think he's sitting about middle of the pack. I know him from last season's Sunday Leagues. Pretty solid driver actually, contending for race wins in the global tier. So we'll see what he can do filling in for the big boys in tier 2 here. Hello guys in chat, by the way. Just SO4 and Alcatraz and Banana after a podium for Banana's last race on this game. I'm expecting back-to-back here tonight, in all honesty, so we'll see what he can do in that Renault. We've got Artie coming through the second sector now, off Canberra corner, down the hill. Hello to Gavin as well in the chat. Good to have a couple of people tuning into the stream. Nice to have some support drivers. Appreciate the support as well in the stream. Let me know who you reckon is going to get pole, if you'd like. There'll be something good coming for you if you get it right. Artie Cheng's, I think there's an AlphaTauri behind. I think that would be Servo coming in as well, so we'll keep an eye on both of those times. Red Bull ahead as well. That would be VC and KI, so I think he's at cooldown, so should get out of the way of Artie Cheng's here. We'll jump on board as Artie comes through the second sector split now. VC and KI does a good job of getting out of the way there. You know what, Alcatraz, I think you're bang on. You've obviously aced that. You've beat me in my own game, there you go. Oh well, for Banana Josh, he's not going to get pole unfortunately, but let's see who can. Artie Cheng's coming through the final corner, a little bit slippery on the power, out of ERS, he'll come across the line, set a P9. Server comes through, P7 for him. Oh, when they've hit each other. Okay. Artie Cheng slowed down at the line and Server has retired. Okay. I was not expecting that. There you go. That's one way to end your lap, I guess. The F1 Hawk's coming through now. He's coming to the pit, so we're not quite going to see where Server is on track there, but that's not something you see every day. A collision in qualifying causing a DNF, but there you go. Carl Dyer in chat as well. Gavin, Chief Engineer, there you go. Got a really important job there, so good to have you on board. Who's on a lap? Who we haven't seen yet? Is Edmund on a lap? And it looks like he's cooling down. A couple guys in out lap, so we might jump on board with someone who's about to start. It's a Stone Tower. He's just started the lap. There you go. So we're right on board with Prezzo here. A bit of a fan favourite from the guys in the comments, I think. Right on board up through Eau Rouge and Radion. Get that car turned in the Alfa Romeo. Up the hill, takes that quite nice. DRS open. ERS on hot lap, flooring it to the max. Ground force probably fairly low because he's getting up to 331 k's there on the straight. And purple for the first sector there. So what can the Stone Tower do here on this lap? He has gotten some pretty nice results in this tier already this season. I'm sure he's going to want to back that up with another strong result. And sector 1 purple is a good way to do it. That tells me he's running a bit less downforce, as there is only one braking and traction zone in sector 1. The rest of it's just straight. We'll see how the car is through the second sector though, which is where the downforce is really going to count. Coming through there, looks pretty nice. Doesn't run wide, which is the first step. To finish first you have to finish, to quote Jackie Stewart. Counts for qualifying as well. You've got to get your lap in before even thinking about pole. Stone Tower runs as wide as he dares. Purple to the second sector again there, so this could be a potentially pole threatening time here from the Stone Tower and the Alfa Romeo. Coming through the third sector now, again mostly flat out there, so if he is running less downforce, that car should be quite nice through there. Hits that apex really nicely there. Blanchimont, tiny bit of curb, not too much to unsettle the car. Heavy braking into the final bus stop, bit of a lock up, it takes that apex quite well, which is good to see. Over the line, what will it be? 42.5, so perhaps a little bit of deception on those purple sectors, but good enough for P5 anyway, which is a solid lap. Who else have we got on a lap who we haven't seen? We haven't seen the Renault yet of Banana Cake Pie. He's invalidated though, so that's disappointing, but he'll, I'm sure, line up another lap. The other Alfa Romeo just starting a lap as well. I think there is the Red Bull just behind. Yeah, Blocky is invalidated. Nui is on a lap and up, so we might drive on board Nui here, halfway through his lap in the other Renault. Oh, he's actually getting out of the way, is he? Yep, so he's aborted his lap. It's not invalid, maybe he's just made a mistake there. Oh well for him. He'll have another ping at the Cherry. Doodog and the McLaren we haven't seen yet either, coming through the first sector, is also on a hot lap. A couple of comments on that little incident. Yeah, Server did drive into the back of Artie, who slowed down a fair bit across the line there, so maybe just not really paying attention, flicking that ARS down perhaps or something like that. But really unusual to see an incident like that in qualifying. So at least he's got a lap on the board, but he's not going to get the chance to improve, which is probably disappointing for him, but yeah, what can he do about it now? If stewards will get involved, they might report it. We'll see what happens, but we'll move on for now. Dudok coming through the second sector through No Name. Easy to run wide, same with Puon, but looks like he's done alright there. Lap still valid, so these guys showing the track limits plenty of respect, which is something that I'm personally not very good at around here sometimes. Which is good to see. Dudok coming through the third sector now. There are a couple of guys just finishing laps just ahead. I remember. We'll keep an eye on the board. Looks like the Rock has improved to a P5. Macedonian's up in P7 as well, which I didn't quite spot before. He said that a little while ago. Esnui still sitting on top with that first run of his, so we'll see who can possibly challenge that. Fair few times quite close together, particularly in that midfield there. P6 right down to P11 there is really, really tight, so a couple of tenths, such a long lap, it's easy to find a couple of tenths if you can really nail your corners together. That could really prove beneficial as Dildog comes across the line for P6, so solid lap there for Dildog, just ahead of the Stone Tower, about a tenth and a half in that there. A couple of Mercedes guys coming through by the looks of things. I think that's Grim coming through the last corner now. He's up on his time. He'll jump to P7 there, split Dildog and the Stone Tower. Half a tenth between Reaper and the Stone Tower, so nice and close. And considering how long the lap is, that's actually quite impressive. As F1 Hawks just come across the line for P1, a 41.8, so we are on the 41s. I think Blocky behind was on a lap, but he's coming to the pits. So F1 Hawk now our new pole sitter. There's a Williams coming through, I think it's Artie. He's just starting his lap, I think, so we'll move on to someone who may be on a lap. Edmund, after a decent race out last week before disaster struck, I think that was last week from memory, in Canada. We know he's got some good pace. He's unfortunately validated this lap, but we'll expect to see him towards the front. Only 4 and a bit minutes left, just under 5 minutes left, so if we want to get another run in, you got to scamper back to the pits to get back out again. Got to account for 2 minutes on an in lap and 2 minutes on the out lap, just about, so a few things to think about. I think there's a Red Bull coming through the third sector, hasn't validated its teammate The Rock, I think it's on a cooldown. So who have we got on the lap? Scotty we haven't seen yet. Scotty is also on a cooldown, I think he's nearly 2 seconds down. He's up in P5, so the two Haas's, actually Macedonian is now out of the 10, so I was going to say the two Haas's in the 10. Currently the two Mercedes and the two Red Bulls are in the 10, so the best performing teams overall so far. Of course, as well as the McLarens in P1 and 7. Honest and Banana are the only ones who haven't set a lap yet. So they're going to pretty much have a one-shot call. I know Honest Cook tends to set a lap late. And Banana's obviously struggling with track limits. We did see him invalidate that last lap before, so that's not ideal there. I'm not sure if anyone's really on a lap actually other than Artie Cheng's, so we might just have a look at him here coming for the last corner now, already out of ARS, so really burning through that. Can he improve? I don't think he will, no, 3 tenths down, there you go. So that'll be it for Artie Cheng's, unless he wants to do another run on those tyres, which he might be actually still pushing. I think that's Macedonian just behind in the Haas. We might ride with Macedonian here. Long game, you reckon? Alcatraz for Banana Cake Pie, there you go. Call it there, we'll have to see whether he knows what he's doing. Got a good lap on the board there. Otherwise it would be a P17 to question mark for Banana Cake Pie. Two Bananas currently sitting last and second last, which is not a great sight for the Bananas. So there you go, Honest Cook. Preoccupied, there you go. Better get out on track though, only 2.5 minutes left, so everyone's only going to have one run left, one lap to make it count, one chance to capitalise in qualifying to get ready for this race. Track position is quite important, not just at this track but just on the game in general. Being in the right place at the right time can really help you, especially when things like safety cars and incidents and other things can throw races a bit into chaos. You always want to be as far to the front as you can, so qualifying is important here. Although in saying that, there are plenty of places to make overtakes, as the likes of Banana Josh and potentially Banana and Oz if they don't get laps in to do in the race. Macedonian purple to the second sector here though, so we're going to have to see what he can do in terms of challenging the top blokes. Really strong in Tier 3 last season, promotion to Tier 2, we would expect him to see him in the points for Tier 2, at least in the top 10 for quali. That looks quite tidy, plenty of inside curve there. Getting that car turned around on the power, what can he do? With P6 just behind his teammate there, Scotty, so Haas in P5 and 6, pretty solid there, so good job for the pair of them. I think, is there a Renault coming through? No, he's just getting out of the way, so the Renault is done for the session. I'm not sure why it keeps changing there. I think Will and Honest are on laps. Honest is coming through the second sector, Will is coming through the third, so we'll stand by with Honest here. In the Ferrari, currently Ferrari's in 13 and 16, which is not ideal. After being 1-2 for a lot of last week actually, although in saying that, Honest Cook is reserving for Ned, I believe, in this tier, who did win last week, so big shoes to fill for Honest Cook, but we'll see what we can do coming through the second sector. I think he had to turn out of that there. Currently sitting on a 12-minute 15 lap, which I'm guessing is just his out lap, so we'll make sure to tune in there for his lap when he comes across the line. But a couple of guys coming across now, we might jump with who haven't we seen yet? We haven't seen the Red Bull. We'll jump with the Red Bull of VCNKI coming through to start his lap through sector 1. 30 seconds left, so it's now or never for these guys. I think everyone's going to cross the line in time for their lap. I don't see many people lagging too far behind. There's a Haas off in the second sector, but we'll stay with these guys. I think that might be Scotty, possibly on his hot lap. So Scotty may be done. Sorry if I'm wrong, it is Macedonian, but VCNKI currently a 10th up in sector 1, which is a good start. A lot of the time is going to be in the second sector though, so really important, makes up the bulk of the track. Sector 1's only 20 seconds or so, sector 3 about the same. Newey and Hawk are done. Newey improves to a 41.7 there, F1 Hawk's in a 41.8, so two guys in the 41s at the moment, which is good to see. But can anyone else get that? Blocky is close, so was The Rock, so was Scotty. There are plenty of guys who can get there, but VCNKI coming through the second sector now. Looks like Benarke Pai has improved to 10th place. May not be the worst in a drop to 11th though, he'll be hoping someone can improve, and does. Stone Tower up to P4 there, so 42.2, really solid, 8 thousandths behind Blocky there, so on the second row for the Stone Tower so far. But plenty more contenders still across the line, such as the Red Bull here, VCNKI. His teammate The Rock has also got to improve as well, so a couple of guys who could potentially challenge that front two rows there. But VCNKI coming through the second to last and the last corner now. Flooring it to the line. Can he improve? He can to P4, 42 flat. There you go. So knocks the Stone Tower back to the third row. Great lap there. I think the McLaren of... I think he's actually finished his lap there. It's the McLaren kick butt. I think it's that coming around the second to last corner. Yep, last corner onto the straight. Can kick butt Kiwi threaten the top 4? He can. P4. P4 is the place to be, Belks. The thing is, everyone wants that spot. The Haas of Scotty goes up to P5 there. I think there's a Mercedes coming through as well. That's Reaper. Where does he jump? Reaper jumps to P8. I think that's Honest Cook would be the last person across the line, I think. Yeah, he will be. So what can Honest Cook do in his one-shot quali session here? I didn't quite see where that went. We'll find out here. 17 there, so he'll be starting towards the back of the field, but plenty of close times there, which is quite impressive considering how long the lap is. So there you go. Newey takes pole by 3 thousandths of a second ahead of The Rock, who improved there. So well done to The Rock there on getting on that front row. F1 Hawk starts third, just 2 tenths back. Blocky 3 tenths back. Kickbutt as well, 3 tenths back. Scotty, VCNKI, all 3 tenths back. So top 7 really close, and a couple of tenths to the Stone Tail ends up P8. He would have been fist pumping after seeing himself in P4, but a few late improvements has pushed him back a little bit. Reaper and Edmund 9 and 10, those three quite close. Stone Tail, Reaper and Edmund. Macedonian, Dildog, Banana Server, they'll be starting 11 to 14, not bad. Perhaps trying that alternate strat. Artie has a 5 place grid penalty. Will, Honest Cook and then Banana Josh didn't set a time, so that's unfortunate for Artie. That would have been from Server running to the back of him. But what can you do now? He'll be starting from last place now. So Joshy, it won't be last, it'll be second last, so maybe a tiny bit better. But that's that for quali, and our race looks nice and sunny, so no weather coming into play, at least for the initial part of the race, which is good to see. So we'll get to hopefully see these strategies play out. We'll see what tyres people go on as soon as we get the chance. Just wait for these guys to pick their setups. Might take a couple of minutes. Anyone in the chat, if you want to give me a top 5, then let me know. Or if you don't want to do top 5, give me a top 3 or a top 1. Who do you reckon is going to win this race? Can someone do a miracle drive from outside the 10, or with a fairly straightforward strategy? Will it be the top guy staying at the top? You never know. We haven't talked too much about the strat. So soft to medium is the easiest way to do it. The guys outside the 10 might try medium soft. However, if you have to pit early on, the hards aren't too bad. So if you have to pit, say, before lap 5, then the hards are probably the way to go. But we'll see what these guys have popped on. And there we go. So Macedonian 11th on fresh softs. He'll have the best tyres of the lot. Was alongside with Will in 15th and Artie in 18th. They'll put on fresh softs. Mediums to the other guys outside the 10. So Depp, Banana and Server will all be on mediums, 12th to 14th. And then Honest Cook and Joshy in 16 and 17 will also start on the medium tyres. So we'll see if they can make any inroads. If they can stay with the pack on the softs, they might be able to make a few moves on the soft tyres when everyone else is on the harder tyres. So we'll have to see what they can do. But it is Newey, he will lead them away on the formation lap. It'll be a long formation lap, longest one of the calendar, so got a bit of time to grab a tea, grab a coffee, whatever you drink in the evening. Not alcohol, we do not encourage drink driving. We'll just wait a sec for these guys to file through. In terms of my own predictions, I'm not really sure who's going to come out on top. Newey and The Rock are really close together, so I'm expecting them to be nice and close. It's going to be tough for the likes of Dildog, Banana and Server to threat the top 5 on the medium tyres. Because the track is so fast, it's quite hard to get a run on someone. You really need braking zones and traction zones to really make the most of the grip of the tyres. So it's going to be tough for them to come through for the top 5. So I do expect the top 5 also guys to stay there barring any incidents, which is a big call because there probably will be incidents. Really tricky turn 1, heavy braking zone with the short run, so there's a lot of cars and just a little bit of track. Then no ridge radio on up the hill, and even at the end of the Camel Straight, in turns, I think it's 6, 7 and 8 there, those chicane there, quite difficult to run side by side as it's not quite slow enough to saw each other out. Kind of 4th gear, 5th gear, 6th gear corners there, so there are plenty of chances for instance at the start of the race, so it will just be a matter of who can get the cleanest start and who can sort themselves out the quickest, I think. Although you do want to capitalise on all the opportunities you get, so it's going to be a real spicy first couple of laps, and then when the DRS comes up in lap 3, might see a couple more courageous dive bombs into the start of the second sector after the straight. So we'll see what happens here, but I'm expecting a cracking race nonetheless. These guys do perform. Every race this season has been quite entertaining, so I don't expect round 4 to be any different at a really iconic circuit. So hopefully we'll get a good front on camera angle. Come on. Is everyone on the grid yet? They are. There we go. 4, 5 red lights. And we are underway for the Belgian Grand Prix. Looks like a decent start for Newey in P1. He'll come across a couple of Rock, who might come under pressure from F1 Hawk here actually. And the McLaren does sneak through for P2. Blocky in the Mercedes there, also trying to sneak through there, but Newey's got a great start there, already up and 8 tenths into the lead. It looks like a little bit of fireworks at the back here. We've got a couple of guys going side by side, might flip down quickly. The Mercedes of Reaper and Janarcate Pie looking nice and close, Edmund as well. So Macedonian's made a couple of positions and looking to make up another one here, perhaps on the Red Bull of VC and KI. Up the front though, it's Blocky and F1 Hawk going side by side. Blocky trying to go side by side. Oh, has to back out of that slightly to avoid getting shocked. Really difficult to go side by side through there, but F1 Hawk just hangs on from Blocky. The Rock's still just behind. Kickbutt Kiwi still in P5. Scotty the Stone Tower, VC and KI, Macedonian and Reaper make up the top 10 for now. Banana on the mediums in 11th, so decent start for him, but looks like everyone's gotten away cleanly, which is really fantastic to see. So the race off to a good start here. Looks like Macedonian might be the man of the move though here on those fresh soft tyres. Most other people on the soft tyres did qualify on them, so Macedonian will have the best condition tyres at the moment. We'll see if he can capitalise on that grip. Will Baxter also made a couple of positions. Looks like Banana and Reaper going side by side, and Banana sneaks through for P10, so great move there from Banana. You don't normally see overtakes through there, so Reaper perhaps running a little bit wide or making a little mistake, allowing Banana to sneak through, but that is P10 Banana, almost P1, P10 Banana, there you go. Lap 1 out of 22. Not as many laps as you might see at a lot of other tracks, but because the lap is so long, it is still the same race distance there, so although it doesn't look like a very long race, it is still, so a lot of laps still to make up time, but it is F1 Hawk trying to chase down Nui after a fantastic start. Leaderboard glitching out as per normal, so ignore that. It's also not lap 3 yet, it's lap 2, so no DRS yet. Gotta love these glitches. The game's already 9 months old and still can't quite sort it out, but what can we do, eh? That looks like the Rock, or is it his teammate VCNKI? I think it's VCNKI who was lining up the Stone Tower. It is, and Macedonian's right behind him as well. I might just have to stay here though, because I can't really select the drivers. Macedonian's going to go down the inside into turn... I keep taking guesses at what turn this is. I'm going to have to stop, but he's going to sneak through on the inside. VCNKI has to give up that position for P8 now. Macedonian now is all over the back of the Stone Tower. Oh, nearly loses the car there though, so you can see he's really pushing at the moment. So a really strong start to the race. Macedonian making up a few positions there. Bernard Josh and Honest Cook, I've seen them switch around a little bit as well. They're having a nice old tussle back there, although they're both a long way out. So they've both picked up some damage. I think they've both come into the pits. They were swap positions last lap as well, so perhaps a little bit of side to side there, not quite working out, but Honest has put on more softs. He's going to have to stop again. Josh is probably going to try and take this medium to the end, but I don't think he's going to make it. But yeah, that's been a pretty crazy start to the race there. So this is the little battle to be watching though. Macedonian trying to hunt down the Stone Tower, but VCNKI still sticking with him quite well. Banana Cake Pie is going to try and hold on those medium tyres. If he can, that'll be fantastic for the second half of the race. Looks like Will and Deputy Dilldog are going side by side. Will sneaks through there for P13, so Dilldog on the medium tyres. He's probably going to want to try and follow Will and stay as close as he can to try and make the most of those. Up the front though, we might have a quick look up the front because F1 Hawks cut that gap down to Nui. That was 8 tenths at the start of the lap, it's now 3.5 tenths, so F1 Hawk looking like he's got a bit of pace here, wants to get a bit of a wriggle on. Looks like Kickbutt and Stone Tower just dropped out of DRS to the guys in front, so they may be vulnerable on the straight as well. We might ride a board here with F1 Hawk, who's going to be using that overtake and DRS. Nui, he's going to move around a little bit, he's going to go outside, can't move again now, he's moved twice, and F1 Hawk sneaks through. There you go, so he's up into the lead now on lap 3. Next Nui's turn to follow Blocky just behind the Rock as well. 2 Haas's now 6 and 7, so Macedonian's cleared the Stone Tower, now the Haas's are lined up there, so Scotty and Macedonian looking quite solid now on 6 and 7. There should be some solid points for Haas and Constructors as well there. So he's got the Stone Tower behind, and Banana Cake Pie is still right at the back of this train here, so Banana looking quite racing the mediums actually. Those mediums look like they're working pretty well. I know they are a very good race tyre at those tracks, but you'd expect him to be struggling to keep up with these guys, but he's actually doing quite well and possibly even looking to make a move on some of these soft runs. Stone Tower's wide. Oh, that's going to cost him a little bit of time there. Might cost him DRS to Macedonian. He's right at the border of the second there. A couple of guys going wide. That will probably be a warning for Banana and probably VCNK as well. A couple of guys picking up time penalties now. Grim Reaper on the exit there. So the Stone Tower, he's going to have to burn some battery to get back in DRS here with Macedonian. Who in turn is trying to get in DRS with his teammates. So we'll see who can hang on to who here. But Banana's looking nice on the medium tyres so far. But as I did mention at the start of the race, it is quite difficult to make overtakes. Even from softer tyres as the track speed is so high. Quite hard to get a run. We might ride on board just behind it with Edmund, who's lining up the Mercedes just behind this little pack here. We saw him really letting the brakes there. Tiny lockup, which isn't ideal if you want to try and get a run up the hill, which looks like he's going to. He's got a lot of battery in store. Reaper's going to come under pressure here in DRS, possibly using a bit of battery initially, but Edmonds, he's missed his apex a tiny bit. It's going to cost him a little bit of time on the run up here. We might look to the lead though, because these guys are 2 tenths away from each other. F1 Hawk and Nui. Edmund unable to make that move this time, but these two look like they have a nice old ding-dong for the first stage of the race. It's allowing Blocky and the Rock to just follow through comfortably. Kickbutt still struggling to stay within DRS though in P5. He's currently 1.1 seconds behind, so he needs to find a couple of tenths to get within that DRS range, but he's not quite there yet. He needs to put in a couple of good corners here to get back, because he can't really afford to let the top 4 get away. Because that could be, yeah, I mean, as I've mentioned a few times now, it's difficult to really make inroads on such a high-speed track, so really important for Kickbutt to stay with him. I look at Stone Tower's struggling as well. He's already dropped 1.3 seconds behind Macedonian after having DRS that lap, so Stone Tower is old soft, maybe he's struggling a little bit, that's running wide. There's probably going to be another warning there, so Stone Tower not quite in tune with this first stint here. He's got a second and a bit to Macedonian, who's just about within DRS his teammates, so VCNK and Banana Cake Pie. Banana's tyres are only going to be getting better compared to these softs every lap that goes by. You might run on board here with Edmund though, who's going to have another run on Grim Reaper. Mercedes versus Ferrari into the bus stop. Edmund late in the brakes and he's overshot it. He's going to come back on the track with the apex, a little bit of contact there. That's going to drop Edmund a few positions actually. He's going to lose out to Will, Dildog, Server, and possibly even Artie as well. Artie might send it down the inside here, and he does. So Edmund, unfortunately, going deep on the brakes there. It's cost him a lot of positions. He's now right at the back of his train, which is unfortunate for him. We're going to have to ride on board the front again, though, because Edmund's Newey only a tenth and a half behind the lead. He's going to go to the outside and try and make another move for the lead. So these two just going side by side through the corner, and they just hold on without contact. F1 Hawk can try to switch back there, but Nui's got that covered off. So really nice racing. As Blocky, I think, almost lost it there behind. He's got the Rock right behind him as well now. So these top 4 really going at it, and that's allowed Kickbutt right back in here. Mustang, VCNKI, Stone Tower. So Stone Tower has lost out to the Red Bull there. Probably saw that one coming. Stone Tower not happy on his tyres at the moment to balance things. So he may come into the pit with the earliest opportunity. As Kickbutt Kiwi's lost out to Scotty here. So Scotty with the move through Puon, I guess then. Wasn't expecting that, but Scotty now in P5, Kickbutt P6. So Scotty's going to have a go at getting up to these top 4 now. Estonian just behind as well. And then you got the Red Bull, VCK, Stone Town, Banana Cake Pie in that little pack. Kickbutt's almost lost it again. That's going to let Macedonian have a look here. Macedonian in the toe, he's going to go around the outside. Can he get it stuck? Really, really tricky to hang it. They're going to go side by side, run a little bit wide. It's going to cost him a warning, unfortunately, for Macedonian, but he is through now into P6. He's going to try and squeeze Kickbutt a little bit, and Kickbutt is going to have to concede. As Blocky is... Oh, Blocky's made a mistake in the last corner, and that's let the Rock through. Scotty's now at the P3. Oh, this is absolute chaos here. Have a look at this. Macedonian's up to P5, Scotty to P3, so both Haas's have gained multiple positions there. The Rock, I wonder if he's been caught up with Blocky making a mistake there, because the Rock's lost a few positions as well there, and he's going to lose out to Kickbutt as well. This is absolute chaos here. So the Rock's jumped from P4 to P7, Blocky's dropped from 3 to 4, and the two Haas's have gone from 5 and 6 to 3 and 5, so... Gee, there you go. Plenty happening there. I think Blocky must have just lost up the power. In the last corner there. Kickbutt's going to have another ping at Macedonian, but he's not going to get through there, so out up behind VCNK and Stone Tower. VCNK, my mistake, not quite able to get, or Stone Tower, sorry, not quite being able to get through on VCNK again. Banana's still right behind, so plenty happening in these open laps. No real chance for a breather, so we'll see how long the voice lasts, but what all that chaos has allowed is the top 2 to get away. Scotty's now got a 2-second deficit to the top 2. So those two can really gun it now, try and break away from this pack and assert their dominance on the race. But I think all of that chaos must have just been caused by Blocky losing the power. I'm not sure how the Rock got caught up in it, maybe just trapped behind at the wrong time. I'm not sure if there might have been a little bit of contact in the exit perhaps, but Blocky, we saw him right close to the inside wall on the straight, or inside on the last corner, outside if you're looking from the pit lane, but yeah. chaos. There you go, makes things spicy. So Kickbutt and the Rock, they're now close together. VC and KR, so 2 Red Bulls now 7th and 8th. I'm sure they're going to want a little bit more than that after, particularly the Rock's qualifying session. So I'll have to see what they can do in terms of inroads. Stone Tower's in the pits, so he's the first one to jump. Looks like those softs, he's had enough of them, so he'll jump onto mediums and they should be able to go to the end. If he can get a nice outlap together, he might be able to undercut VTNQR, maybe in the Rock or Kickbutt, now that these guys are also close together. So we'll have to keep an eye on that gap there. Stone Tower. Edmund's put on hards as well. We missed that, so he's going to try and get gritted out to the end. Top 2 once again going side by side, and F1 Hawk's going to take the lead now into lap 7. So plenty of interchanging here. These two, they've already gapped Scotty again by another half second. So even though they're sort of fighting, they are still pulling away, maybe just using each other's toe and DRS to gap the field. So perhaps a little bit of accidental or unintentional teamwork going on here, but it's working well whatever they're doing, so I guess they're going to keep it up. Scotty's got a gap to Blocky now of 1 second, with Macedonian up the P5s, 2 Haas's, Blocky in the middle of the Haas sandwich there. See who decides to come to pits first though, because an undercut could be valuable, although in saying that, losing the toe and the DRS could be just as costly. Considering the pace of this group is actually quite strong at the moment, so we'll see what these guys do in terms of the track. When they do pit, I will jump back on board with the Stone Tower just to see the gap. Stone Tower does have clear air, so he can push, although clear air means no DRS, so we'll have to see how that plays out. Kickbutt looks like he's going to close up here to Macedonian using a tiny bit of battery perhaps, but he's not going to be close enough to launch an attack from the bus stop, I don't think. No, Macedonian close enough to Blocky to pick up a bit of toe as well there, so, and Blocky's in, so he's had enough of his tyres as well, so he's the first of this really front group to pit, and the Rock's in as well. So the Rock, I'm actually going to check the Rock. I want to see if he has to replace his front wing, because that little instant there, I'm not sure if there would have been a little bit of contact. No front wing change, there you go, so perhaps just having a check up on the straight there. So where's the Stone Tower? Sliding out of the last corner, bit of Tokyo drift there, or Belgian drift I guess. But where is he going to come out relative to these top 2? They're already coming out of the pits. His wheel has retired up the hill. Oh, and if this is a safety car, it's really going to hurt these guys. It's a VSC. And because it's so early in the lap for them, it might just save these guys. But Blocky and the Rock have come out just ahead of the Stone Tower. Where is this stricken car? On the right hand side, just the other Alfa Romeo, so he's lost it up the hill there. So Eau Rouge Radion Complex takes its first victim of the night. So there you go. And the VSC is out the first time. And Server's got to drive through. There you go. So Server's going to have to pit an extra time. He's going to drive through the pits. Really slow pit lane here as well, so that's going to hurt him. And he's going to have to pit again. So we'll have to see what he can do in terms of a comeback after that, but far from ideal. Stone Tower though is managed to close up to these guys, so these guys will right in the front field. Oh, and he's hit the wall. That might be a little bit of damage, which would really be unfortunate for him, but it's not visually, but I know the yellow damage sometimes doesn't show up on the visual, so we'll have to see what the situation is for the Stone Tower. Yeah, Gavin, massive crash looks of things up the hill. You don't like to see it, but what can you do? It's part of the thrill of this racetrack. Speaking of thrill, Kickbutt, oh, getting a bit of a squeeze from Macedonian in the braking zone. He's going to squeeze through. Oh, and there's contact and Kickbutt's round. I wonder if Kickbutt was trying to get the pit lane. He's definitely going to now. Oh, the Mercedes is coming through as well. And they're side, or they're not side by side, they're inside each other. And Reaper's going to sneak through. There you go, that was a bit chaotic. Most of this top group is now in the pits, so everyone decides that now's the time. But Kickbutt, I'm not sure why he was trying to go for a big move there when he was coming to the pit lane, so that is unfortunate. I don't think he's going to need a front wing change, but it's going to cost him a fair bit of track position. He's going to lose out to pretty much everyone. Server has left for some reason, which is interesting, but there you go. And have a look at this. F1 Hawk's lost out to Blocky in the pit lane, so he must have been slightly held there. Blocky's now into effective P2. He's getting total on by Nui here, and Blocky might even make a move for the lead. He's close enough. Down the inside at the end of the Camel Straight, and there's going to be a little bit of contact, and Blocky's round. Oh no, how disappointing for Mercedes. Oh, and he's going to have to get that car turned around again, and he's going to have to wait for everyone to go by. Which is fantastic sportsmanship for him, but that's going to cost him a podium, potentially, without penalties as well. Oh, that's so disappointing for the Mercedes there. We just see the McLaren, oh sorry, the McLaren, the Renault just take that apex. Really tricky, as you've said a couple of times, to make that move. And unfortunately for Blocky, he's lost out to everybody. Oh, how disappointing. That's so frustrating for him. After looking really good. What that does is that puts the Rock up into a potential podium spot again, but that's so disappointing for the Mercedes man of Blocky Rex, running a really strong race. But we'll see what he can do in terms of a comeback. If he gets a safe car, it might give him another sniff at some solid points, but yeah, that's unfortunate. Anyway, move on. F1 Hawk and S Newey, P1 and P2 effectively after pit stops. Mastoni is in the pits now, so he's stayed out another lap. Banana and Dudog are still out, having started on those medium tyres, so they're probably going to wait till about lap 13 to come to the pits for softs, maybe even lap 12, so it won't be too long till they come in. The softs will do a long time. The fresh softs they'll do almost half the race, so it won't take too long for them to come in, but let's see how the rest of this plays out. A couple more guys in the pits now, so Server's served that drive-through. I think his Ghost car is now serving that drive-through. Stone Tower Macedonian, I think Stone Tower is ahead of Macedonian now, so not sure what's happened there. I'm pretty sure unless it was just the undercut. There you go. But these top two going side by side. F1 Hawk getting through again. So these two are still towing each other along. I think the fact that they're not really defending their position too hard means that they don't really mind just towing each other along and getting away from the field. So some good teamwork from the pair of them. That would be a warning for Newey. And he does have that advantage over F1 Hawk. F1 Hawk does have a time penalty. So Newey's going to, if he can keep it clean and stay right behind F1 Hawk, he could be on just for F1 Hawk to tow him to a win. Not even halfway through this race though, so we can't talk too much about outcomes, but that might hurt F1 Hawk a little bit later on. The Rock's not too far away either, you can see that. Scotty as well, all in the same picture there. They got a little bit of a gap to the Stone Tower, who's managed to split the Haas guys to the Stone Tower in some nice trap position. However, he's going to be under pressure from these two behind, who are on 2 lap fresh and mediums, as he's picked up a warning and a penalty as well, so that's not going to help the Stone Tower. But all three of these guys do have a penalty. Oh, the Rock's got a drive through as well. Wow, that must have been for speeding on the VSC as well. Is he going to come in and serve that? He's going to have to. It's been 3 laps, hasn't it? So that's really going to hurt the Rock here. Potentially losing a podium. Is he going to come in? He is. So there you go. The Rock now losing out under that VSC. He's going to have to serve that drive through now, and that's going to drop it well down. So that puts Scotty into the potential podium position now. P5, which is effectively P3 once Banana and Dudog pit. A safety car now would really help those two in the next 2-3 laps. Edmund on those hard tyres, still persevering. The Rock. He's going to come out just behind him. Oh, this is spicy. Up the hill, Macedonian and Stone Tower going all over the place. You don't normally see side by side up here, and if you do, it usually ends in disaster. But these two, both quality wheel-to-wheel riders, and the VCKR is going to try and have a look through as well. They're going to sort each other out. Macedonian ahead of the Stone Tower now. But that looks like chaos getting up the hill there. Still running one. Oh, Stone Tower's nearly lost it, and VCKR has gone to back of him. Let's hope that's not damage for his sake, but oh, that's unfortunate. Remember, Stone Tower may have a little bit of damage as well. I'm not too sure from hitting that wall before. But you can see the gap. Macedonian's already pulled 1.1 seconds. So Stone Tower lighten up those rears, trying to defend from VCKI. And he's understeering a little bit. So yeah, I feel like the Stone Tower might have a little bit of damage. Actually, unfortunate for him because he's struggling in his first stint now. His second stint's fallen over as well. But if he can hold on to some decent trap position, he can still get some solid points out of it. As Macedonian, oh, he's in the wall. We were on board and we just completely missed it. Macedonian has spun it, and he's now going to drop the trap position. I completely missed that in the onboard, and he's going to lose out to the Rock. Wow, okay, so everything's happening now. That must be just on that inside curve there. So Macedonian now into P10 instead of possibly challenging to the top 5. So there you go. Everything kicking off. So that's given the Stone Town VSNKI a bit less to worry about. Although I'm sure Macedonian will be driving hard to catch back up again, but that gap will be about 8-9 seconds to him now. So I wonder if he's got some damage. He's staying out, so perhaps getting away a bit lucky there because he must have hit the wall fairly hard there, unless he's somehow managed to save that. But that's unfortunate for the Haas there. The other Haas still in P5, but yeah, lots happening. In fact, these two are going to swap positions again. Are they going to race each other though? They are going to race each other. There you go. So all cards off, and there's more contact, and F1 Hawk's around. He's in the wall. Oh, that's unfortunate again, and unfortunately it's S Nui on the other end as well. Once again, so that's quite unfortunate. F1 Hawks now are down into P5, effectively P3. I'm not sure if he's going to have damage. Visually, no again, but I've mentioned a couple times, yellow damage doesn't necessarily show up on the visual. The end plate, oh, that's so frustrating for him. As been seeing Counterstone Tower all over the place again, so these two fighting hard as well for P6. What this fight is going to do is going to allow Banana and Deputy Dildog to potentially get back into the battle when they come in for the soft tyres next lap or two. Stone Tower gets another penalty, which isn't going to help him. He looks like he's missing Apex after Apex at the moment, so really feeling the heat from VC and Kiai in the Red Bull, who is a very solid driver himself. So yeah, this battle looking like it's still going to flare for a little while, but geez, all over the track things are happening. People going everywhere, a couple of little incidents, a couple of really nice overtakes, but I mean this race has had a bit of everything. We've only just crossed halfway as well, so yeah, being really spicy so far. Stone Tower's just going to be able to hang on from VC and Kiai here, but the Red Bull will have DRS coming around the next straight, so might potentially see some more side to side. And if the Stone Tower is losing a bit of downforce, it's going to help the Red Bull up the hill. So look to see. Looks like VC and Kiai's got a pretty nice exit out of there. Should be close enough to make a move. What are the ERS situations like? Pretty similar. Stone Tower has a little bit more to defend with, but he's going to be able to stop the run. VC and Kiai's already closing in there. Stone Tower's going to go to the inside. He's going to have to hold his line there. They'll be side by side down the Camel straight with the DRS. The Red Bull should be able to pull ahead, and he does. So Stone Tower has to slot him behind. He's going to go for a late move down the inside, late on the brakes, and there's side by side still. They're going to push each other as much as they can. Both fair racing. Oh, they put each other on the wall, and the Red Bull is in the wall, and the Stone Tower's round. And has he get it out of the wall? I don't think he has. No, that's big damage there for the Stone Tower on the right-hand side. And that's going to let Edmund through, of all people. Edmund starting towards the back, having to pit early on the hard tyres, is now into P6. Oh wow, the scenes. Macedonia, the Rock going side by side. These guys all getting caught up behind the Stone Tower, who has front wing damage. And Kickbutt's going to be right behind the three of them. Stone Tower's unfortunately enough to lose out to all these guys running wide at Puon, but oh, crazy stuff happening this race. The Stone Tower's going to drop out of the top 10 now. He's going to have to pit again, put on the softs, and hope that something can come by. And Macedonia, oh, he's going to let the Rock through. He's lost the rear a bit there, no, he's not going to let the Rock through. There's more contact. These guys going really hard at it, still side by side through the exit, and the Rock's going to have to back out slightly, and that's going to allow Kickbutt to run on the Rock here, and he might even get a run on Macedonian if he gets the opportunity. But Nike Pie's in the pits as well. There's more contact. Oh, there's more contact, and the Kickbutt's in the wall, and that's massive damage for Williams there. Oh, the Rock just didn't acknowledge his presence there at all on the inside. And he's going to be parked in the apex. The Reaper is coming through, and luckily Coasting is on. Kickbutt Keely's now going to have to pit again as well. His teammate Artie Chengs goes by. Oh, everything's happening. And I'm not sure what Kickbutt's doing here. He's riding the wall. He might be retiring from the session. Oh, jeez, it's all happening. He's just lighting up the rear, so he's obviously quite frustrated at the moment. He's going to probably turn it around the pit lane and put it in the pits to retire. The Ferrari of Honest Cook goes through. Wow, what a crazy last few laps. And guess what, we've still got 8 to go, so there you go. We'll see with Benarke Pie. Benarke Pie came out in P5, he's 7.5 seconds behind F1 Hawk, so he might be able to catch that, although F1 Hawk's got great pace, we know that. Dildog's still out, so he might be staying out and hoping for a safety car at some point, which, I mean, considering the number of incidents we've seen the last little while, there's every chance we could see a safety car, so yeah, I don't know. It might be worth a gamble, but those mediums won't be feeling too nice compared to S Nui only on 4 lap old mediums, so let's go for the lead. S Nui should be able to get this done fairly easily, although it looks like Dildog he's not really just on let him by, which he doesn't have to of course, but Nui not using the battery either, so perhaps just going to sit behind, save a little bit and then go for it. He has got 2.5 seconds, or sorry, 3.5 seconds back to Scotty now, so there we go, Dildog's in, so he'll put on soft tyres, he'll come out probably a bit behind Banana Cape Pie, maybe behind Edmund, we'll see. That's going to put Nui back into the lead, although with a few question marks over his name, perhaps after a couple of little incidents with his two main contenders for the win here. F1 Hawk and Blocky. F1 Hawk still out, so he must have avoided damage somehow as well. Banana Cake Pie up in P4 now, so he's done quite well from P10. Doodog coming out of the pits, he's going to come out just behind the Hearthside Macedonian. No, he's going to come out just in front. There you go, so between Macedonian and P10 Kai there, so Macedonian now in P8. So Doodog could be on for a top 5 here as well here. Did I just say here twice? There you go. Doodog, yeah, he's only got 2 seconds to V-Sync Kai and another half to Edmund, so top 5 well and truly on for Doodog, and he's got no penalties either, which is going to help him. So Doodog on for a cracking result here from outside of 10, starting on those mediums doing that alternate. Him and Banana drawing really solid stints. Unfortunately, Banana did pick up the penalty on his in-lap, but Doodog's done really well to keep it clean as well. There's a couple of guys now getting penalties. I think that was it Reaper and The Rock there. They're quite close to each other as well. That wouldn't have been related. Someone's off in the last sector. That might be kicked out again. Yeah, he's gone around. He's going to stop next to the track there, which is unfortunate for him. Not too sure what he's doing here. He's going to get rolling again. He's got more frontal damage, so he's put it around at Blanchemont by the looks of things. And he will pit again. As whether it will stand the session, not too sure. But unfortunately for Keep Up Days, now after having a decent look at the top 5 this race, he's going to be right down the back and he has retired from the session, so that's quite understandable there for Keep Up Kiwi. Unfortunately for him, it's going to be a DNF this race. As the leader goes by, I think so. Yeah, that's a shame, but that's racing sometimes, unfortunately. A lot of chaos happening in that little pack there, we saw before, so there you go. Anyway, Doodog, he's already caught the Jin DRS of V10 KI. He's late in the brakes. Probably don't want to go too late there. Got to look after that front wing of yours, Doodog. So he's going to try and line up V10 KI, who's got DRS and Edmund, so that's not going to help Doodog, but he might be able to get 2 in 1. Perhaps the next couple of laps here up to P5, so we'll see what he can do. Edmund, we briefly mentioned before, has done a really nice job from towards the back of the field to get into P5, so we'll just check the position change. Yeah, so Edmund's up 5 places from 10th. Putting on those hards, pitting early, so he's done really well. Banana Cake Pie is our biggest move at the moment from, what's that, 13th to 4th at the moment, up 9 places, so he's done really well. And Scotty, capitalising other people's battles, getting himself into P2, which is fantastic for excuse me there. So it's really nice racing from a few guys here. We can't really let go unnoticed, so it's been a really solid race so far. VC Carp picks up a time penalty as well. He's got Dildog right behind. That's his second one, yeah it is, so that's not going to help VSN KI there defend from these guys. Going to lose out to Pervin, and possibly even Blocky, who might still come back for a top 6 or 7 here, so it wouldn't be the end of the world for Blocky, but it's a bit of a what could have been for him. Could have been a win, could have been a podium. Considering his pace, probably would have been a podium, but can't get too hung up on those kind of things. VSN KI running a little bit wide there. And still chasing down Edmund, who's actually holding some reasonable pace in those hard tyres there. 9 laps old, so they'll still be fine, but a lot less grip in the mediums and softs, the guys behind him. Race has settled down a tiny bit overall. There's only a couple of small gaps. I think after all that chaos and distance has really broken up some of those big battle packs, which you would expect. Such a high-speed track, trying to capitalise on every opportunity, such a really tightly contested field. Stuff's always bound to happen, but unfortunately that's broken up the race a little bit, but we've still got a couple of little nice battles here. But Dildog still trying to hunt down the top 5. He's got a really nice run with VSN KI, who's going to use his battery but doesn't have much left. Dildog is going to go down the inside, braking zone at the end of the Camel Straight. Should be able to get it done on the inside, and he does. VSN KI unfortunately not quite having the grip to fight back there compared to Dildog's fresh soft. So there you go, Dildog now up in P6. So it's been a great recovery here for Dildog. On these soft tyres after starting on the medium tyres, doing that alternate strap, making it work out really well. Same with Banana. Unfortunately he hasn't quite been able to close the gap at all to F1 Hawk, but P4 would be incredibly solid nonetheless. Banana Cake Pie from P13 as we said just before, but you can see Dildog got so much grip compared to the hards of Edmund there, so he might be able to get a run into the bus stop chicane, or even earlier if he can get the run out of here. So Dildog on for top 5, which would be great. Edmund hits the gravel on the entry, which won't help his turn in at all. and Dudog's going to use a bit more of that battery. Edmund has about the same amount of battery there, so it's a pretty straight fight between the pair of them. Dudog, he's turned that battery off, so he might try and line up a move at the end of the Camel Straight, or he might actually go now. He's got the run. Soft tyres is going to be able to brake a lot later, chooses not to, so he's going to bide his time. He knows he doesn't have to take any risks, not much pressure from behind. In terms of the time penalties, he should be safe. But Dudog is probably going to get by him clearly just to provide a bit of comfort with a clear track ahead. Rock sets quickest lap of the race. 9 lap old mediums, that's pretty impressive actually. There you go, so he's down to the P9. He's had an eventful race as well. I think most of his field's had a pretty crazy race, but Dudog and Edmund are going to have enough ping. Dudog will have DRS to help him this time. Bit of battery. Edmund has a little bit, but not sure if he's going to really fight him too much. Edmund moves left, and Dudog's going to go down the inside. Just as he did the lap before on the Red Bull, and Dudog will take P5 in a pretty much carbon copy of his last move. So Dudog, fantastic drive to get up to P5. Edmund can't give up yet though, because if Dudog gets another penalty, or gets a penalty, Edmund can capitalise. VSNKI is all over the back of him though, so Edmund may have to defend a little bit here, although VSNKI with those 2 penalties is going to fall behind regardless, so we'll see what the Red Bull chooses to do. He's probably going to have to go aggressive. He knows he's going to lose his position anyway, so may as well try and do it on track for a bit of pride. But the Red Bull trying to get that car turned in, looks like he's done pretty nicely there, but the Ferrari of Edmund just putting his car in the right spot as well, not allowing a little look there for the Red Bull. On this back straight now, I don't think VSNKI is close enough, nor is he going to try. Save that battery for the Camel Straight where you get DRS as well. Dudog has just about broken the 1 second, so if he can do that, Edmund won't have DRS, which will help the Red Bull an awful lot. These guys are the only guys on track at the moment within a second of someone else, so we'll stay with this little battle for the next couple of laps while it still looks likely. Edmund right on the border of the second for DRS. If he can stay with it, it's going to really help him, but I'm not sure if he's going to quite be able to on the exit here. 1.001, 0.9, I think he might just 1.001. It's going to be really close as to whether Edmund gets DRS here. We're going to ride on board here. Does he have it? Does he not have it? Does he have it? He does. There you go. So good job there for Edmund, staying with the soft running Dudog through that second sector, but he's not going to be close enough to make a move, of course, but neither is VSNKI, so that DRS probably saving Edmund there. If he can do it 2 more times, or 3 more times, then maybe he can hang on to P6 on track as well, but there you go, doing really well. Blocky's making inroads as well. He's managed to close up to the Rock. He did get penalty just before. In terms of the penalty difference, they are, well, Blocky's got the advantage there, so Blocky doesn't have to make the move to get the Red Bull driver, but I'm sure he would want to anyway. Astonia's also got 3, so he's not going to get that position. So yeah, could be a P9 for Blocky, which after that incident there wouldn't be too bad. But Blocky just drove a really impressive race in that first stint, really fighting for the battle, and he pulled off a really fair attempt for the lead there, but unfortunately coming together hasn't helped his race there. But he's got plenty of fire belts and things, looking like he wants to get that move done anyway. Personal best in the second sector, so Blocky's still pushing hard. 2 more laps, or 2.5 more laps to go in this race here. Blocky's not going to be able to make a move yet. And keeping an eye on that gap between VSNKI and Edmund as well. If that gets close, we'll stay there. There's yellows in the second sector. I think that's a Stone Tower. Oh, it is. He's had another incident there, possibly just losing on the curb. So he's had another what if race as well. The Stone Tower getting involved in a fair bit. Unfortunately, he did run, I don't remember who it was, ran someone off wide after a really aggressive battle. Unfortunately, making a mistake of his own there. So it's going to be P14 at the moment for the Stone Tower. I'm not sure if he's got damage. Looks like he's managed to get away with it. So yeah, we'll see what he can do. In terms of this battle, the Rock defends the inside quite aggressively, and Blocky's going to have to go around the outside, but the move's done before the braking zone. So Blocky now up to P9. So really nice for Blocky there, recovering from right towards the back up to the top 10 again. And the Rock's going to have to give up that position. VSNKI still not able to get by Edmund. There's more yellows, and is that... Oh, is that F1 Hawk? It's F1 Hawk out of the podium position. Oh, and he's beached on the curb. Oh, this... I haven't seen this, I've seen this somewhere, but not myself. The car is beached on the curb and he might get disqualified here for being stationary. This would be absolutely massive. That car is genuinely beached and he's been disqualified. That is absolutely astounding. That's just incredible. Wow. F1 Hawk's been disqualified with 2 laps to go out of P3 for being beached on a curb. I've seen that on like a YouTuber stream or something like that. I never thought I'd see it in real life, but he's obviously dropped it at Puon and he's been totally... Oh, gee, that's the first. Well, that is probably the most unlucky thing you'd possibly imagine. I mean, the game's pretty quick for the DSQs when you're backwards or in the gravel or something like that, but getting beached on a curb and unable to get yourself off, that's quite incredible. I don't really know what to say about that, but what that's done is put Benarcate Pie into the podium position, and you know what? He's got a penalty, so it might even put Doodog onto the podium. So I guess one McLaren for another if Doodog can get there, but that's just astounding. I don't really have any words for that. That's incredible. Stonetown, Banana Josh side by side for the last corner. Stonetown with the soft tyres. He's going to squeeze Banana Josh off. Banana Josh will stay ahead there on the hard tyres. He's tried to persevere on his hards. Stonetown's going to absolutely send it down the inside. A bit of an absolute crazy man move there. Joshy will get the DRS. Stonetown's going to squeeze Josh wide. So Stonetown questionable in the defence again. But he's going to stay ahead for now, but we'll lose the DRS to Josh. Cookie's up fast left the race there. Neither of them have much battery to play with. Stonetown to the inside, can't move again. He's going to go late in the brakes, I know. He's going to move across the braking zone, and that's pretty naughty there from Stonetown. Josh won't be happy about that. Yeah, you're not allowed to move in the brakes there, so Stonetown, mate, you got to settle down a little bit. I know you want to race hard, but there's a limit. Even though he's got better tyres, still got to respect you guys around you. So Stonetown now up to P12. Joshy, I'm not sure if he's going to have enough laps to come back. A bit wide there, might be a bit of a kiss to the wall there, which won't help him either. The Rock still sticking behind Blocky within DRS there. We are onto the last lap for the leaders now. S. Newey is currently chilling out front. He's got a 3 and a bit second gap to Scotty behind. A couple of question marks after collisions with both his rivals, but nonetheless it's been a solid drive for S. Newey in P1 with Renault. So Renault currently double podium as it stands, so that's quite impressive. Scotty P2 after capitalising on some chaos from other guys around. When Blocky lost the rear at the last turn onto the straight, we saw Scotty slide through like a smooth operator, get through into some solid track position, which has turned into P2. So Scotty's done a really solid job. Benarcate part on the alternate from outside the 10 in P3. He's got a second buffer, if you consider that penalty, to Doodog behind. So he just needs to keep it tidy for the next couple of corners. Doodog, another guy on the alternate strat, has done a really nice job getting through that little traffic there, get himself into some really solid points. Edmund persevering on the hard tyres after pitting earlier. Service being disqualified for not using the right tyres. This race has been incredible. That's another thing I've never seen before. There you go. Okay. VCNKI 6, Macedonian, Blocky, Rock and Reaper ran out at 10, but we're going to have to jump to our race leader coming through the final couple of corners now. Newey will take the win of round 4 Pacific Tier 2. Solid drive there. Scotty with a fantastic drive into P2. Benarcate Pie, P3 Banana. I was hyping up in qualifying before, expecting a back-to-back podium for his league races, and he has performed. He has delivered. Benarcate Pie to P3. There you go. Fantastic drive. Doodog just as equally impressive. P4 Edmund, P5 after some early troubles. P6 for VCNKI, but he will lose out to Macedonian. Yep, Blocky after a potential podium. He's going to recover to P8, which is impressive in his own way. The Rock and Grim Reaper will round out at 10. Rock also having a few troubles in his own race. Stone Tower will follow. Alright, he's got Grim Reaper just for the top 10 by half a tenth. There you go. Stone Tower coming around in P12. Banana Josh right behind him still. In terms of penalties, Joshy, they're just about the same. So Stone Tower with 1 second in hand, so should be able to hang on to that P12. Anonymous Crook Looks like he's had a few troubles. I think he nicked that fastest lap. Yeah, he did, so there you go. He's going to take 14th plus another point, so... Well, I mean, yeah, that race had absolutely everything. Two things I've never seen before. Some really fantastic driving, some really aggressive moves, aggressive overtakes, aggressive defense, which is what we like to see. A couple of guys with some really great comeback drives, such as Banana outside the 10 to a podium, probably deserves that drive of the day. Bit of controversy, a bit of incident, but it's all part of the fun of league racing, so there you go. That was a pretty enjoyable race to watch, actually, from a spectator point of view. Congratulations to our podium, 2 Renaults up there, so doing really, really solid. S. Nui ahead of Scotty, who does split those Renaults. Scotty with a fantastic drive, and Banana Cake Pie. P3 Banana in chat, there you go. Does deserve that podium after some really solid laps there. So, yeah, that's been a chaotic Belgian Grand Prix. Doodog and Edmund and Macedonian from 10th all down up to 4, 5, 6. They've all made some really nice inroads. VC and Kiara from 7th stays 7th. Blocky dropping to 8th. Rock 9th, and Artie Chengs will take that last spot in the top 10. I believe the top 15 do get points though, so Reaper, Stone Talbot, Josh Honest Crook will walk away with points. Hugh Butt did not finish, so he won't get points after a couple of unfortunate incidents. Will Servo and F1 Hawk. Servo getting disqualified for not using 2 tyre compounds, which I'm not sure if he did or not. Actually, I might just check the race director quickly, so that will tell us. There you go. Medium. Okay. That is something I haven't seen before, but I guess it's fair enough. And then F1 Hawk with the most unfortunate disqualification, getting beached on that curve and not being able to move, so he's lost the podium out of that, which is quite unfortunate, but nothing you can do about that. But that's been that. There you go. Round 4 action. Tier 2 providing the goods as always. So really, really solid drive from the field. Yeah, had a bit of everything. Not really too sure how to debrief that one. There's a lot to think about. Did a lot of talking that round, but I mean, the entertainment's what we're here for, isn't it, as viewers? So yeah, that was a fun one. I'll just check the calendar quickly. I want to see what next week's race is, because I'm not 100% sure off the top of my head. Just give me 2 seconds. S4 calendars. Alright, so next week we've got Singapore. So a real different track. The first 4 races: Austria, Britain, Canada, Belgium, all high speed, all kind of DRS trainee, all fairly straightforward on the track. But Singapore, a totally different beast. So that's going to be a real spicy one, a real contrast to what we've had so far. Then after that we've got the Slip Fest of Italy, and then the home race for most of these guys, Australia. So a fair bit of variety in the next 3 tracks, so we might see some interesting results here. But that will do us for tonight. Thank you so much everyone for tuning in. Thanks to our drivers for putting on a show as always. Thanks to the guys in the chat as well. Appreciate the compliments. Good to have your support around. If you want to see these guys, previous races, go suss out the Race Spec YouTube channel. I think all but one are there. And if you want to see more from these guys in the future, same time, same place, next week for Singapore, and for the next however many weeks are left for the season. So looking forward to some more action in the upcoming weeks. But yeah, we'll sign off there. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a lovely evening. Bod Horde aka SickDoc96 signing out. See you later, guys.